Anybody who's taken basic math understands that if it takes two parents to support a certain lifestyle before divorce, there's no possible way those same two parents can support two households after divorce or separation. So the whole concept of a child maintaining the same standard of living after the divorce is a complete fallacy. Because in order for that to happen, the custodial parent would maintain the same standard of living, but that must mean that the non-custodial parent has a substandard living. How is that possibly in the best interest of the child? The entire child support calculation system needs to be overhauled to understand that there's a new demographic that has taken place after the divorce. Therefore, there's a new lifestyle that takes place for all participants in that situation.
The girls will get $5,500 each. The blokes will get $69,000 each. Can anyone justify this item?
They can't.
No.
I mean, the gender, I beg your pardon.
I can justify it.
Why?
Well, I tell you what, stars don't get paid more money because, sport doesn't become interesting because the stars are paid more money. Stars get paid more money because the sport is interesting. Let me ask you this. How many of you guys on the panel know who our Australian Matildas are playing in the quarterfinals? No, because you don't care about it. Now, if you cared about
I do if they win.
No, but that's the thing.
They beat
Do you know what? All of you can go and watch W League games in the women's competition here, but you don't. Now, when you start to go and watch these women play the wonderful football they do, then they'll earn more money.
But I don't go to watch the men play football either.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people do. The Men's World Cup is one of the biggest money spinners on the planet. Women's football, even though at grassroots level it's working really, really well, it's got a long way to go. The other thing, let me ask you this about sports equality. The top 10 fastest men of all time in terms of sprinters are all black, of African origin. Are you telling me that the white guy should say, hold on, we should be paid just as much as the black guys for sprinting? No, because they're not as fast.
Look at this crib, Cole. It's perfect. I think we are finally ready. Let's start trying for a baby next month.
I agree. We are financially stable. But if we do this, there is one non-negotiable condition.
What condition? You want to name him? Or pick the godparents?
A mandatory DNA paternity test. Immediately after birth. Before I sign anything.
Excuse me? A DNA test? Are you insane? That is the most insulting thing I have ever heard. Do you think I'm a cheater? Do you think I sleep around?
I didn't call you names. I called for a procedure. Hospitals put tags on babies to identify them. I want a test to verify mine.
Trust is the foundation of marriage, Cole. If you love me, you wouldn't need a test. You are so insecure.
The bank trusts me. They still run a credit check. The airport trusts me. I still go through security. Verification is not an insult.
Those are businesses. I am your wife. You are treating our child like a transaction.
Raising a child cost $500,000 in 18 years of my life. That is the biggest transaction I will ever make. I need to know the investment is mine.
I can't believe you. Imagine explaining to our son that his father questioned his legitimacy on day one.
The truth is never traumatizing. Only lies are. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Fine. If you demand this, then maybe we shouldn't have a baby at all. I won't let you violate my privacy. Please.
Your privacy ends where my responsibility begins. You want my resources, I need my proof.
So that's it? You're withholding a family because of a $100 swab test?
I'm not withholding anything, but hear this. No DNA test, no signature on the birth certificate. I don't sign blank checks.
Paternity fraud is a crime with no punishment. The only defense is verification. Case closed.
Do you think a man's family should love you before he pops the question, before the ring?
No, I don't think it matters. No one will ever know you the way that your person knows you. And ultimately, y'all got to do what's best for you.
Would you marry into a family that didn't like you?
If they didn't like me, like in the skits,
yeah.
Like if I was getting disrespected all the time.
If that was your reality, would you be able to marry Brock?
I don't think we'd ever speak to his mom again.
You think he would cut his own mama out for you?
That's the man I chose, though.
Right.
And vice versa. If my dad disrespected my husband, you would never see me again. In real life, me and his mom have an amazing relationship. If a man chooses his family over me, you can have him.
What if he was more neutral?
You can't be neutral about me. It is or it isn't.
Her.
If you allow your family to disrespect me on the regular, I'm out. Somebody's going to be okay with the disrespect. I'm not that person.
Definitely.
You know?
But what if his family loves you but the man still isn't ready to commit. Does family approval mean anything then?
No, I want to be powerfully chosen. You know, I think it's great if they already love you. Then I feel like that could be an influence to him actually popping the question. And when you're younger, I think that that's important. And y'all know family is one of my highest core values. So I couldn't imagine, like, I don't even understand that dynamic. How does that happen? That's different from me. But for somebody, it's going to work for them because people do it every day. That's why you hear monster-in-laws, right?
So you talk about how special your parents are all the time.
They're pretty special.
And you're telling me that you would cut off your parents?
Dead to me.
What?
Dead to me.
What do you...
And it's funny because my dad kind of said it in our episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I leave him, I no longer belong to my father. I belong to my husband.
Right.
We shall cleave to one another. And if you think, because this is the thing too, this goes back to who would you save, right? Children or spouse. This goes back to how do I choose something that either I came from or came from me, but not something that is of me. Because when two become one, we are one.
Right.
And not only when it is convenient.
Right.
So for me, and maybe this is nature versus nurture. Y'all heard my dad today. I already knew his answer. I know my mom's answer. They have always put each other first. Always. That was evident to me growing up my whole life. So maybe because that's what I've seen my whole life.
That's why you had...
That's what I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Nature versus nurture, right? This has been nurtured inside of me.
Yeah. What if the man has all the qualities, but now he's relying on your feminine side to lead the house?
5 things that women lie on social media and claim to not like, but they actually love it. First thing you got to understand about most women is that a lot of them are liars and they have selective morality. So they pick and choose when they want to have integrity. Coming in at number 1, because it's my favorite, is cheating. I done said this before. Women do not hate cheating. Women hate being cheated on. Majority of women, if you have a conversation with them, you'll find out that at some point in their life, whether they was young, old, they've been another woman. Right? They've been the other woman to a man who was cheating. They had no problem being a side chick. They had no problem messing around with a man who they knew was taken. I done met so many women throughout my life. I have had to cut women off because they can't seem to stop messing with other people's men. And I don't do that. Right? I don't hang around people that do that. That's a no-go for me. I don't play that. But they will sit up in your face and tell you how horrible cheating is. But the truth is they only care when they the one being cheated on. And a lot of them, contrary to popular belief, don't actually hate being cheated on. They hate the embarrassment that comes with being cheated on.
Now, I was just about to say that. They don't like the embarrassment of it. A lot of these modern women are all about status. And if you're cheated on, that ruins your status. That ruins your brand. You might be talking about, say, for instance, the Wizard Liz, or I think that's what her name is. When her man cheated on her, she is all about talking about, do your man this way. Make sure your man does this. And she's talking a lot of trash, a lot of stuff that's kind of silly. And when a man fool around and cheats on her, I think when she was pregnant, then all of a sudden that brand, that image, all of those millions and thousands of views goes out the window because you can't even control what you got going on. You out here talking all this trash about how to guarantee he ain't gonna do nothing, but here he is doing it to you.
People find out. But if the man would cheat on her in secrecy and only him and her knew that the cheating was going on, most of them, they really don't care. Number 2, a lot of women, mistreatment, they don't hate it as long as you can compensate them for it, right? Like, you can't actually mistreat them as long as the money right. They'll give up their dignity and respect for money. A lot of them can be bought. So it doesn't matter how disrespectful that man is. It don't matter how terrible he treat her as long as the compensation adds up and makes sense, literally. Next, number 3, deadbeats. Women actually love deadbeats, right? Especially when he can give her all his time. You think that while she out going on these dates and he taking her out of the country and doing all of this stuff that she asking him, well, why you ain't spending this time with your kids? No, she don't care that he ain't spending this time with them kids. She don't care that she don't never hear him talking about going to get them kids. She don't care that she ain't never seen him talk about sending no money to them baby mamas. Only person she care about is her, All right, as long as he treating her good. And if she got kids, she only cares about the treatment that he gives to her children. Biological, not biological. She only cares about her and her situation. Attention. Number 4, women love attention. They'll sit up and tell you and lie straight to your face and tell you that they don't do this for attention. They don't do that for attention. They absolutely love attention. They love male attention as long as it's from the man that they want the attention from. All right, it only gets questionable when it's a man that they don't like. But if it's a man that they like, absolutely, absolutely. You think if her and her homegirls go out and they see a table full of fine men that they don't want to be approached and they don't want conversation had by those men? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I don't care what they telling you. All right. It's the ugly dudes that's coming up and bothering them that they got a problem with. But they absolutely have no issue with attractive men shooting a shot, talking to them, conversating with them. They love that. They like attention. They go out of their way for attention. They'll throw other women under the bus for attention. They'll do a lot of things to get attention. Don't believe that. And last but not least, number 5, marriage. Majority of these women absolutely wanted marriage. A lot of these women who accepted these babies in no ring, yeah, they wanted to be married. All right. When you go into the comment section of women who getting proposed to, women who get married, look at that comment section. Just full of women just wanting that to be them, wishing that had been them. All right. It just didn't end up being them. And, you know, they'll sit up and tell you stuff like, if I wanted to be married, I could. Yeah, you could, to some loser, some ugly loser. But the man who you actually would want to be married to, no, you couldn't just be married to him because he'd actually have to ask you. And he's not doing that. You know that. We know that. The men that you want to marry you are not marrying you. So, no, you don't have the ability to marry the men that you want. You could get married. Anybody could get married. Get married to the person that you actually want to be married to is a completely different story. But yes, if they could actually be married to the men that they want, they would. This concludes my list. Hope you enjoyed it.
So basically, in so many words, these modern women are on their worst behavior, which is what a lot of men know. A lot of men, even if they didn't know in the beginning, they learn really quickly. And for the men that don't learn, they learn over time. And so at that point in time, they say, you know what? It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me anymore. And in turn, what I'm going to do to help the other young men out, because men look out for other men a lot of times, I'm going to turn around and say, hey, don't do this. Don't go down this direction. Don't go down this way. Oh man, but she's so beautiful. Don't do it, bro. I know you enamored with her looks. I know she built like a brick house. She stacked. I get it. I understand that. I was you once. Don't go down there, bro. Don't be out here simping for her. Oh, what does that mean? Giving her excessive money and she not giving you nothing back. She not doing anything for you. She actually don't care about you. Your investment is going to waste. Once again, I understand this woman is one of the most beautiful women you've seen. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Leave her alone. You don't want to get 20 years in, 15, 10 years, 5 years in, and realize, man, she never really actually cared about me. She didn't. She's a con artist. She's deceptive. That's who she is, right? Obviously, you ain't done everything right, but this is who she is. Get away from her. Don't go around a woman like this. This is what men continue to say. A lot of men already knew all of this. When they hear this, they might not know, but when they hear the list, they're like, yeah, I knew about that. For sure.
Hey babe, was I wrong for how I moved at this girl's birthday dinner? So I get invited via my homegirl to go to this girl's dinner. I don't know her like that. I think I met her once through my homegirl a while ago. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go because you're inviting me. So I go, I get the girl a little gift or whatever. When I pull up, the first thing I realize is, first of all, everybody's on time. And second of all, a lot of people showed up for this girl's birthday dinner. It was over 12 people, probably over 15. I've never seen this many people at a birthday dinner at a restaurant in my life.
So you already know what that chick about to do. Let's see. But that means a lot of people like her. That means she probably has a great personality, which is good.
As the night's going, people are buying their drinks and things like that. But what I started noticing is people's orders. I'm a very observant person, so I started noticing people's orders, and they was ordering 2 and 3 appetizers, 3 and 4 drinks, the best, biggest T-bone steaks with the gold on it, and this, and truffle fries, and this, and this. Everybody was doing their thing. So something, I don't know what it was, at a certain point of the night after, people was, finishing up their plates and ordering their last drinks and stuff like that, I had to go to the bathroom, but something hit me on my way to the bathroom, like, just stop and pay for your meal. Just stop by the bar, pay for your meal, tip out, do that. That's what I did. So by the time I go to the bathroom, pay for my bill, tip out and stuff like that, the waiter is coming around to the table wanting to know how we're going to do the bill, because the bill can only get split 2 ways. And he made that very clear. The bill can only get split 2 ways.
This is exactly why I don't like to go to big restaurants, these 5-star establishments, because they never want to split the bill. Like, they either do one ticket or split it 2 ways. And when you with a party that big, everybody tried to, they'll go down the list and say, I had this. But a lot of people try to leave out the gratuity and taxes, like as if you don't have to pay that. Like, I'm just going to pay for my food. Damn well if you had a receipt, you going to pay for all of that. This is why I don't like those big type restaurants and with a big old party. Because I already know where it's gonna go.
So the girl looks down at the other end of the table where we're sitting, and she says, oh, well, 2 of the guests, they can put it on their card and everybody can cash app them and they can deal with the bill because I'm not worried about that. I'm the birthday girl. I heard it, but everybody around at the table act like they didn't. And I was completely not worried because, again, my bill is paid for, tipped and everything. I'm just kind of waiting on my homegirl.
How you gonna say who needs to put what on their card? And just because you the birthday girl, your food is not obligated to be paid for. Matter of fact, as the birthday girl, because you invited everybody and you know everybody, you probably want to put it on your card. For the simple fact is, if I go to somebody's birthday party and I don't know everybody there, I'm not putting it on my card. I don't know these people. It's one thing if I know everybody and I already know how I go, which I still don't want to do it. But at the same time, it's different. If I don't know everybody at that type, I'm not doing that. I will send my money, or we just gonna be sitting here because what?
Why would a guy want to approach you? You're because guys aren't approaching in the same breath that you're saying, we don't need you. We're not crashing out over you. We don't give a lick. Why would he, what is in it for a guy? What is in it for a guy? Why would a guy date a woman who's constantly saying, I don't need men, or constantly saying, I make my own money, I do this. Like, what are you going to do for me? What is in it for him? Just like a personality? He doesn't need that. What is in it for him? Really, I want to know what's in it for the guy.
Didn't a man this, didn't a man that. Man. Let's just blame man and take no accountability because it's a man's fault.
But didn't a man make you a single mother? Didn't he leave you with a broken home? Didn't a man leave you high and dry with those babies? No. No, actually, no. Nobody made me anything. See, that is what I find to be so interesting. The idea that anything that has happened to me is automatically a man's fault. Let me explain something to you, because this is something that I used to hear often on that Bird app. And if this channel was, or if this account was to get bigger, I'm going to hear it here too. So let's go ahead and get in front of it now. Nobody made me anything. There is not a single circumstance that I am not currently sitting in and living in that I was not a willing participant in. Every decision, even though I could say in hindsight, I didn't fully understand certain things back then, I was still a willing participant in my life. Right. I still made poor decisions. I still did things I wasn't supposed to do. And now I sit in my circumstances, or I sit in certain consequences, and I sit in where I am in life now. And I look back and I absolutely see where I dropped the ball and where I made mistakes and where I made poor decisions. And I have to take that on the chin and just keep moving through my life, because I am no one's victim.
Why do us women keep male friends? Let me explain why.
Shut up. I'll explain why. It's because you're a slore, number one, first and foremost. And then number two is because you're a narcissist. If you and your girlfriend are both narcissists, then you guys don't mesh because you want all the attention, she wants all the attention. So women, many of them, they're not good people. That's why they can't deal with each other, because they both are takers. You can't have two takers together. So then they find the weak male, right? The weak male has to be nice and considerate and extra loving and groveling. And so he'll stick around thinking he gonna get a piece of pie, but you ain't gonna never give him a piece of pie. You gonna starve that boy to death. And he's going to stick around trying to get a piece of pie because the only way he can get it, because he's weak, he's lame, he's undesirable, is being nice and being a doormat. And so you guys use him as a doormat because you're not good people. Now, would a real man ever deal with a chick that got male friends? Hell nah, it's not necessary. What she need male friends for? She doesn't need that at all. But here's the kicker. A good woman doesn't even want it. No woman needs it, but a good woman doesn't even want it. You did. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. And do not let these slurs lie to you. Don't even listen to them talk. In 2026 moving forward, we don't even listen to these broads talk.
Because men are also oriented towards status, competition, victory in a way that women just aren't, not at least not in the career domain. And the reason for that's very straightforward. The thing that makes men, by default, most attractive to women is their comparative success in the hierarchy of men. It's a walloping predictor, and it's irrelevant to men. Men don't care at all whether women are successful in their career. It's not a determinant of their attractiveness. In fact, it's often the contrary. Well, these women that I'm talking about, they were often alone. Why? Well, they're beautiful, so that intimidated 90% of men right there. They're smart, so that's another 90% of the remaining 10%. They're accomplished and wealthy. Well, first of all, who's going to approach them? And second, who are they going to accept? Because women are hypergamous.
Does that mean that men are insecure and sort of emasculated by a strong, successful woman?
Sure, but there's reason for that. It's not weakness on the part of men, exactly. It's the desire of the woman to find someone who brings a benefit to the relationship. And why? Well, because a woman will make herself vulnerable when she has a child. And so she's looking for a man who'll be helpful compared to her. Okay, so if the woman is full of ability, well, then her standards for a guy who's going to be helpful get very high. And that's hard on her because it decreases the pool of available candidates radically. So there's a negative relationship between IQ and women and the probability of being married. So it's harsh. Now, are men intimidated? Well, yes, obviously. Are men intimidated by beautiful women? Well, you can answer that, especially if you're young. Why? The probability that any given beautiful woman is going to reject you when you're a young man, it's basically 100%. Now, it's not exactly 100%, and there are exceptions, but the default response is rejection. And beautiful women get hit on, a fair bit.
So I think, and a lot of times, we don't actually talk about what you would need the money for, right? And a lot of times it's, well, I don't want to stop my standard of living. My standard of living means going to get my nails done every week, going to get my hair done every week or every other week, going shopping excessively, living in an excessively wealthy house. Fantastic. You can do all of those things, right? But is that what you need? Okay. Number one. Number two, what men do is they assess what they actually need. Is this what I actually need? That's why a lot of times a man can go get a woman from McDonald's, or he can go get a cashier and it'd be just fine because he's assessing what he needs. Okay, I've got the job locked down. I have the, it seems like I'm going to be growing in my career. I have the social network over here. I'm missing something over here. I'm deficient over here. So he goes in search of that. Modern women are looking for their replacement. Man is looking for his complement. You see how that can be a problem? You're looking for somebody that is as good or better than you. That's going to be harder to find, right? As far as you know, what you actually should be looking for is somebody to complement you. Well, when I go out and I'm pregnant, then I don't want to have to do this, and this, and I want to maintain my lifestyle. Right. But if you look for somebody to complement you, you bring in an enhancement. And so that enhancement is going to boost what you can already do. So if you bring in the man as the enhancement, then it's going to boost what you already do. And that shortage or that fall off or that drop off that you were thinking you're going to have, it doesn't happen. Or it's not as drastic as you thought it would be, because the enhancement, the complement enabled you to boost your efficiency. That's what a lot of modern women don't look at.
When you become a single mother, that is the direct result of you opening your legs too damn quickly.
You're putting me in a box and you're basically saying that it's my fault.
Are you a single mother?
I am.
Well, actually, I don't even like to use the term single mother. I like to use the term lonely mother. Are you a lonely mother?
Why are you assigning the word lonely?
Because that's the reality. I'm not saying that the men who leave their children are good guys. These men who leave their children are irresponsible, immature. They're not men that I admire. But here's the thing. When a man leaves his own child, it's highly unlikely it's due to the child. It's due to that lonely mother having been and he didn't want the kid in the first place. It's her being disagreeable and he's leaving the situation with her.
The girl you love unconditionally will treat you to never love unconditionally again. And this is so true. The girl that you choose to love with no boundaries, with no expectations, with not caring about yourself, not caring about your treatment, not caring about what you actually do, not caring about your circumstances, your situation, that particular person will treat you will educate you and train you to never want to do that again. And so this is why it is important to actually love with conditions. People talk about this unconditional love thing, but the reality is that's only with your kids. That's only with the people that you actually create. When it comes to a human being that you did not create, did not come out of your balls, or did not grow up in your womb as a woman, that unconditional love thing is out the window. We all love very well on conditions. I told my wife, if I just choose this to, let myself completely go and just become a complete bum, a homeless dude on the street, not doing nothing, not caring about nothing, I don't expect her to love me through that. If I just decided to just become completely and physically attacking her and doing all these other things, or verbally or whatever it is, I don't expect her to love me through that. Now, do we have hiccups? Do we have mistakes? Do we have disagreements? Do we have arguments? Absolutely. But every person should have a list of non-negotiables. And ideally, you should attract a person that you're compatible with so they wouldn't even think about doing your non-negotiables. Now, again, any relationship is going to have triggering. Any type of relationship is going to have contention, conflict, adversity, obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. So it's not to say that you just meet this perfect person and everything goes smooth, but it is to say that you have conditions. Under no circumstance are you dealing with this. Under no circumstance are you dealing with this. And with those conditions, I always tell people no more than 3 to 5. You don't need a whole list of things that's going to be overwhelming. But you do want to have about 3 to 5 things that under no circumstance you're not dealing with. And then the same thing for your partner. Under no circumstance are they dealing with. And y'all love each other on the conditions of those non-negotiables. That's really the key thing. But the whole thing of loving a person unconditionally, that is setting you up for failure. That's about to have you be a doormat of a person. I honestly question the self-image and the self-esteem, the self-worth of all the people that do love unconditionally, the people that's not their kids. Because why do you train people how to treat you by what you tolerate? And why do you tolerate somebody treating you like it has no value? Because people treat things based on how they value it. And so if they're treating you poorly,
if there's one kind of content that makes me so nauseated and agitated and literally blows me up, it's these wives and moms that get on the internet and post these I can't stand my husband. My husband is kind of a deadbeat, but I love him. Yeah, but I'm going to make 20 more videos about how he's a deadbeat. And I do everything, but my husband doesn't do. It's just ripping on your husband and ripping on, essentially, if you rip on your husband, honey, you're ripping on your family. And honestly, if you rip on your husband, you're ripping on yourself because you chose him, right? And you're still there.
Because men are also oriented towards status, competition, victory. in a way that women just aren't, not at least not in the career domain. And the reason for that's very straightforward. The thing that makes men by default most attractive to women is their comparative success in the hierarchy of men. It's a walloping predictor, and it's irrelevant to men. Men don't care at all whether women are successful in their career. It's not a determinant of their attractiveness. In fact, it's often the contrary. Well, these women that I'm talking about, they were often alone. Why? Well, they're beautiful, so that intimidated 90% of men right there. They're smart, so that's another 90% of the remaining 10%. They're accomplished and wealthy. Well, first of all, who's going to approach them? And second, who are they going to accept? Because women are hypergamous.
Does that mean that men are insecure and sort of emasculated by a strong, successful woman?
Sure, but there's reason for that. It's not weakness on the part of men, exactly. It's the desire of the woman to find someone who brings a benefit to the relationship. And why? Well, because a woman will make herself vulnerable when she has a child. And so she's looking for a man who'll be helpful compared to her. Okay, so if the woman is full of ability, well, then her standards for a guy who's going to be helpful get very high. And that's hard on her because it decreases the pool of available candidates radically. So there's a negative relationship between IQ and women and the probability of being married. So it's harsh. Now, are men intimidated? Well, yes, obviously. Are men intimidated by beautiful women? Well, you can answer that, especially if you're young. Why? The probability that any given beautiful woman is going to reject you when you're a young man, it's basically 100%. Now, it's not exactly 100%, and there are exceptions, but the default response is rejection. And beautiful women get hit on, a fair bit.
It's so funny to me when men play hard to get because you're already hard to want.
Then why do you date them? Why does any woman date them? Clearly some women want them. I mean, a lot of us, we do a lot of things to impress men. Let's be real here. We really do. And I know what women like to paint this picture that we actually don't. But we always ask men to pay for those things. There's no shame in wanting a man. There's no shame in being proud of being in a relationship with a man. There's no shame in not being able to find someone and struggling and dating and just openly admitting that. It's okay. Sometimes it's hard to find someone that likes us back. Sometimes we have crushes on people that aren't reciprocated. That's okay to admit. You know that, right? It's okay. You don't have to make videos like this, putting down all men. There is no shame in struggling in relationships. It's totally normal. It happens to most of us at least once or twice. Videos like this just really aren't necessary.
False. That sounds more like a personal observation, but if you want to know if someone is marriage material, science can help you decipher the clues, and this video is for you. I'm Max Butterfield, Dr. Max Butterfield. I study this kind of thing for a living. 3 science-backed facts you should know. Number 1, marriage-minded people show commitment by planning for the future. So if your partner is thinking of a future with you, I know that sounds very basic, that is a very good sign. And if they're not, if there's no indication of that, that's not good. Number 2, marriage-minded people will invest time and effort into a few key areas. Number 1, into you. Number 2, into themselves. And number 3, and maybe most importantly, into the relationship. If your partner, if your person is doing that, that is probably a really good sign. If they are not investing in you, in themselves, or in the relationship, that is probably a major red flag. And then finally, number 3, marriage-minded people show up. They are consistent. They do what they say they're going to do, and they don't do things that they say that they won't do. Again, I know this stuff sounds really basic, but it's easy for people to miss the red flags or the green flags that are right in front of them. If you want to get better at that, follow me for more. I make daily science-backed reels. I post them right here. They're easy to find and easy to follow, just like me.
No, he's got a point. He's got a point. Marriage-minded is looking for patterns. Marriage-minded is looking for intent, right? And so, well, I think it depends. If you've been out there going crazy, then you might not care if your woman has been out there going crazy as well. Because we both doing the same thing. If I go to the bar every weekend, I might not care if my girl goes to the bar every weekend, right? It's just me and you now going to the bar together. Y'all are kind of going in the same direction. You have some of the same hobbies, right? Cool. But what's important when looking at marriages is this person sound, of sound mind, of sound judgment. That doesn't mean that person makes the right decisions or that person doesn't have a past or what they've been doing. It just means, what does their character look like? And some of these women have gone through a transformation within like the last 6 months to where they're like, man, I used to get, as a matter of fact, I just got knocked down by a guy, maybe a month ago, right? But I'm changed now. So if you've been out there, and especially if there's pictures and stuff of you online doing that stuff, it's going to give a man pause. It's going to make him kind of step back and say, okay, well, I mean, I don't know about all that, especially the average man that doesn't sleep with a lot of women. Well, he would if he could, and this and that. He doesn't. He's at the house, right? There's a lot of stuff that maybe you can do. So basically, let's do this then. You want that man to be financially stable. So there's a lot of things that he could blow his money on, but he doesn't because he doesn't want to be broke. There's a lot of people that you can sleep with, but you don't because you don't want everybody saying, I had a piece of that. Just like you don't want him giving his attention and his money to other women prior to you coming into the picture. He don't want you giving your attention, at least a lot of it, a vast majority of it, to other men prior to coming into the picture. If you sit back and think about it, it's not really that hard to understand.
These women different. Now they drinking the whole bottle of Don Julio. Remember when they was out here and ladies was getting free drinks, and they was cute little drinks, Cosmos and little fruits. They drank 2 little blue drinks. Now they out here drinking like your grandfather. They put their hands on you. Can't nobody tell them nothing. They at the red light twerking on the headlight. Every time you look up, she posted up in a Rolls Royce Phantom with the stars in the ceiling. You're not in the NFL. Where you get all this nice from, Miss Lady? Now don't nobody qualify because you done talked to 2 football players. 3 rappers was in your DM. Now you don't like nobody no more. Now he got to make $36 million a year just to get a text back. Come on, Ken. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, Ken. I'm out here telling you, hey, black man, work on your home. Stay strong, bro. I know it's hard. I know you ain't going to get credit for everything that you do. But now we ain't nobody type no more. They mad at every time they see a black man happy, what they do? Shut that down. Look at the city of Atlanta. That's why they changed the whole city. Black men were too happy in Atlanta.
Because they was having their way with women all the way around here, and now the women have finally been like, you know what, that is over.
See,
we're gonna even the playing field around here.
Out the women, it was just black men having too many options, and they hated that. That's why they shut Buckhead down. Remember Buckhead? Buckhead, what was out there doing? Having a ball, pulling up in Ferraris, jumping out of Bentleys. Going to the Velvet Room and Visions and getting what they do. Locked up everybody who was successful.
So I'm sure that we've all heard the Bible verse that he who finds a good wife finds a good thing. And this is very, very true. But I think that we also need to get into the fact that a lot of these modern women are not Proverbs 31 women, nor have they been raised to be. A lot of these women are full of trauma and drama, and not to mention that they are mentally unstable. These modern women nowadays are just made different. And men, I need you to take heed to this. If you are dealing with a woman who is showing any type of signs of being mentally unstable, meaning she always wants to argue, she's always combative, she's low vibrational, whenever you are trying to reach a goal, she's trying to be a distraction or distract you, right? She's very manipulative, right? She doesn't want to see you do better than her. Or if she does want to see you do better than her, it's only because she's trying to get something out of you. She doesn't want to pour into you in any type of way. She's emotionally unstable, meaning she cannot regulate her emotions, even though she is an adult. And she's acting like a child, right? If you're asking her for space so that you can process what she has done and she's not giving you space and still texting and emailing you and doing all these things, practically harassing you, please take these signs very seriously, because a lot of men stay with women for convenience, because maybe this is convenient or whatever it may be, but convenience is why a lot of men are locked up and in jail, and why a lot of men are suffering in their own homes silently, and is going to the bar every night after work because they do not want to go home to all of the nonsense. So I tell men all the time, even in my consultations, stay away from women who are mentally unstable. They will ruin your life.
So I made a video, right, responding to an original creator who I'm about to show y'all, who was speaking on men being ugly. And I was responding to who wanted to clap back at Bohemian Diva, who responded to the creator that I'm about to show y'all, trying to call her out for calling that Sedona started, and just being honest.
Most men are deeply unattractive because of Mother Nature and something called the Great Scam. The Great Scam was the day that the male of the species convinced the female of the species that it no longer needed to prove itself worthy in order to reproduce and have babies. But the fact that the men are ugly says otherwise, right? They're not supposed to exist. They're supposed to be cannon fodder to the strong, attractive men who are worthy of having babies. So while y'all are out here being like, the men don't take care of themselves, that's why they're unattractive. No, you're a 10,000-year-old genetic anomaly. He's not supposed to exist.
The thing that pisses me off most about this whole is the fact that let Sedona have been pretty, y'all would not have said. Y'all love to tell pretty girls when they've got cheated on, dogged out, dragged out by a man, oh my God, how could he? You're so beautiful. That like that's supposed to mean something. Y'all equate prettiness to being a good person. But as soon as someone who is unconventionally attractive says something about ugly people, knowing that they're unconventionally attractive, oh my God, we shouldn't be talking about looks. We should be talking about the character, morals, the values of a person, all that, because y'all don't do that when it comes to pretty people as well. A lot of you women are so fake with each other. So fake. And this is exactly why we get women who come on here crying, being like, oh my God, why aren't men looking at me? Oh my God, why aren't men doing this with me? Oh my God, da 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 da. And all you in her comment section talking about, you're so gorgeous, you're so T-ma, you're so this, that, da, da. Knowing that, hello, does she like women? No, she likes men. So y'all telling her she's gorgeous, you're so T, your body so T, this, that, and the third, does nothing to her when she wants to be attracted by a man. And she can't get that. Hello, y'all aren't thinking about that. And for Sedona to even say that men are ugly, that means that the men that she finds attractive is not looking at her. She wouldn't have made this if she really looks around and thinks that all men are ugly, because not all men are ugly. Are we talking about? Yes, there are some men that are ugly out there, just like there's a lot of you that are ugly as well. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. All of it, across the board. That's the problem that I have with you women. Y'all don't want to talk about across the board. Just because she's talking about men in general does not even stop the fact that she's talking about looks. And the fact that she's talking about looks and she looks the way she looks says a lot. First of all, Sedona is not stupid. She knew what she was doing when she made the video. She knew that a lot of people are going to clap back at her, knowing the way that she looks and what she said in her videos. She's not dumb. She knew how to get engagement, and a lot of y'all fell for it. I didn't even say about Sedona. I was clapping back at her. She was clapping back at Bohemian Diva for keeping it a buck. That's it. And now I got you in my comment section talking about, oh my God, you're a bully just as bad as them. You shouldn't be talking about looks. You should be I don't give a fuck about none of that. Sedona should have never talked about looks in the first place. But the only reason why y'all are allowing Sedona to talk the way she talks is because a lot of you are on this hate train of all men ain't I hate men, because you got dog cheated, dragged by a man that you chose to entertain. And a lot of you look at Sedona as not a threat to you. So of course you're going to be nice to her because she's not a threat. You're not insecure when she's around. Let it have been a pretty who said some shit, and a lot of you would probably be insecure. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. I don't give a if y'all want to call me a pick-me. I don't give if y'all want to call me a bully. I don't give if y'all want to say that my personality is mean or whatever case may be. Can none of y'all say about me because y'all don't know me. You only know what I put on my content. And all my content that I speak about is real. I don't coddle you. I don't do nothing but keep it real with you when it comes to my content, because other people aren't doing it. This is exactly why we got 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s self-delusional in the head thinking that they're 10s, and then they're complaining when they can't get a 10 of a man. What the is wrong with y'all? And I genuinely don't care what you look like. I'ma humble you if you need to be humbled. Because again, a lot of you bird brain and you bobblehead need to be humbled. Y'all sound stupid. Y'all have no logic at all. Y'all just follow every single woman because it sounds the same. It looks good. You went through the same story, the same rhetoric, or whatever the case may be. Y'all all sound stupid. And I say that with my whole chest. Y'all sound stupid.
She's living in a world of delusion. And once again, women, modern women, have declined to call her out. For whatever reason, we don't know. Maybe it's because she was saying something that they felt or they agreed with. But nevertheless, you're delusional. You and your little posse, you and your friends are delusional. And I think that you know it. I think you know it. But you get on here and you talk trash. Men don't pay attention to a lot of stuff because they have work to do. But when they turn around and all of a sudden the focus and the laser beam is on you, then all of a sudden it's a problem. When a man starts digging into your behind, when he starts putting his foot in your behind, and you know what? Don't worry about it. When you start getting roasted, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Protect her. Oh, we got to defend her. She could have defended herself by not saying anything. She could have defended herself by staying in her lane. But a lot of these modern women don't do that. And when they're not held accountable, it encourages them to run into somebody else's lane when they know darn well they need to go pop some popcorn and chill out.